Hello and welcome to another episode of Good Brews, Bad Views, the podcast where we find out if great beer makes bad movies any better. I'm your host, Max Nestorowicz, and as always, joined by one of my co-hosts, Ryan Everard. How are you, Ryan?
I'm all right.
And James Thorpe. How are you, James?
Hi, I'm fine.
Okay, you don't. That's
worst.
fine. All right.
We should just stop introducing him.
Yeah, I'm just gonna not.
What was
him.
wrong with that?
You're just like, hi. At least Ryan was like, I am doing well.
I said I'm fine.
Oh, I did not.
You
hear
were
that.
talking over me and
James
yelling at me for something before I had done it.
He's basically just adjusting his monocle and being like, I'm too good to talk to you.
Yeah. So, this is a podcast where we drink craft beer, watch a bad movie, and make jokes and observations about it. So, if this is your first time joining us, welcome. If not, thanks for coming back. This week we are watching Spawn from 1997. There's not really much I can say about this movie other than it is like superhero movies from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have it queued up on Netflix. We are about 12 seconds in. The New Line Cinema logo is just kind of finished doing that angle on a slant thing. If you are watching along with us, hit play now.
Now, as a past projectionist, you don't want that, right?
Oh, that's bad.
No.
Yeah. No. That's you hang up and go home for the night. That's just it's over.
Yeah.
So, I think the dove is a super cheesy pull at the beginning. Like,
Yeah.
look at this is innocence.
This is like the 90th little montage-y thingy ever.
Right.
This looks like a Sega CD intro.
CD, good pull.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie, having watched it again recently, is one of the most unevenly. Let me say that differently. Has the quality of special effects is so uneven in this movie. I don't have anything else to compare it to. Like some spots, it's like, wow, that looks kind of good. Still, that looks kind of cool.
Yes.
But other parts are like, that. How did that even pass for then? You know?
Yes. Yeah.
Ugh.
So here we have what I like referring to as like the 90s American James Bond opening.
Right.
So, but just as we're getting into this movie, Spawn is an Image comic, one of the, not big two. I guess they're kind of the big three now. Image was founded by a bunch of like the young upstarts at Marvel who was like, we want more money for our work. And Marvel's like, no, you're a contract to hire. So they all left and formed their own company. And insanely successful. It's where Walking Dead comes from. It's where Saga comes from. Sex Criminals, Bitch Planet, many other well-received series. Interesting, though, this is 5 years after this comic debuted. So if you think about it, that's kind of like a really quick turnaround for new IP, make a $40 million movie about it.
Now, do you think some of that has to do with McFarlane being attached to the project and him being attached to all the Spider-Man stuff previous to this?
Yeah, Todd McFarlane, the creator of Spawn, mostly known for his artwork in Marvel in the late 80s, early 90s. He actually came up with the character Venom. And known for, his Spider-Man work. And he was very much like, I want to make a company. I want to have my own IP. I want to be able to make toys and movies and shirts and everything. So maybe, yeah, because he was all about, like, get my stuff out there.
Yeah, I just, like, for a new company, but that name was big. Like, he had been an established name at that point.
Yeah, there's, like, videos of him, like, giving interviews on, like, The Late Show of, like, oh, young upstart Todd McFarlane drawing and whatever. So.
Have you seen that video of McFarlane and... I'm trying to think of the other guy standing or hanging out with Stan Lee, and Stan Lee is just making fun of their drawing the whole time.
Yeah, I think
great.
that's the video I'm talking about.
Okay, he's like, so how long does he take it to get all this equipment? It's a great video if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Who's the other artist on that?
Jim Lee, maybe.
No, I don't think so.
Could be Rob Liefeld.
That's who it is.
Could be there's like 5 or 6 guys who left Marvel.
Yeah, it's Liefeld and McFarlane and he is just ripping them apart the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, it's very subtly, but it's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, this movie must have been like right about when that comic bust happened, which according to Jim Lee, we're kind of on that road again. So, issues were selling 300,000 copies at a minimum. Like, it was a shock when an issue was selling less than 300,000 copies. Okay. Now comics are doing well if they sell over 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I first saw this movie, I was only very passingly familiar with Spawn. I just, from the trailers, little Ryan was just very excited to see this movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, they had a big push on toys for this movie, too.
Yeah.
It's also one of the longer opening crawls that we've had.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, it's like a James Bond opening. There's a whole little scene. There's an explosion. Missiles take out all the bad guys from Batman and Robin who are going to go bid on Bane.
Yeah. So is this our first movie with an African-American lead? That is not a ensemble movie?
I would say
I guess so.
yes,
Nothing else comes to
actually.
mind.
Yeah, because I bring up ensemble movie because of Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. Oh,
Right.
yeah. But yeah, this is actually Michael J. White's first movie as a leading actor.
I remember thinking immediately when I saw this movie that dude has a cool ass voice. I'm a sucker for actors and actresses with cool voices. That always gets you extra points in Ryan's book.
Yeah, yeah.
In Ryan's very important book of what he thinks of other people.
It's a very thick book.
It is. That's just because it's all pictures.
Yep. So while we're going through this long opening, what are we drinking today, guys?
We are drinking. Oh man, it's Crayon Ponyfish from Shorts. I was at Shorts a couple days ago, and I brought back a growler, and it's a sour. And Max, I think you're going to have the details on what other things this
Specifically,
is.
this is a barrel-aged American sour ale fermented with Brettanomyces, peach, and pomegranate.
And
So
it's from
Brettanomyces-
wine barrels.
Yes, it definitely has
And
that.
You can get a bit of it in the sour.
Yep. Well, that's probably a lot from the Brettanomyces, which is a type of yeast that gives sours that funky taste, that farm blanket, horse blankety taste. I would say it's probably, of all the sour flavors, it's the one that I think turns the people off the most because it's so pungent almost.
Yep.
But this is actually it is a barrel-aged version of Shorts' Peachy Pom Pom, which is just their American sour ale, peaches and pomegranate, and I'm loving this beer.
Yeah, it's real.
It's very good.
This is one of my favorite sours.
I don't know how you go from peachy pom pom to, when you put it in a barrel and age it, to Crayon Ponyfish, but hey,
it's Shorts.
yeah,
whatever.
They do what they want. They love their crazy stuff.
that disaster scene they showed on the news right there is nowhere near proportional to the size of the explosion that happened in the scene we just watched.
Right. And that's actually one of the well, that's something I was kind of thinking about with scale in this movie, because they keep talking about, the world, millions are dying, and it gives almost no insight or view into the supposed destruction that has happened from all this that Wynn unleashes when he kills Simmons.
Yeah, well, there's a 5-year time jump between when he comes
Yeah.
back, so I assume a bunch of shit just goes to shit.
Right, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's aside from Rat City or wherever the fuck they live,
Yeah.
they really don't. You don't get a feel for it.
As a very large West Wing fan, this is the darkest timeline version of Jed Bartlett, by the way.
I do like how this opening scene is shot with the clown like in the back.
Yeah, just
This
kinda
the
silhouetted.
You kind of get some little details, but
Yeah. I'm going to go on and say it. I really like John Leguizamo as the
I was
clown.
going to say the
Yep.
same thing. This is
Concur.
our third movie with John Leguizamo. We cannot escape this man. This is his best role.
Outside of one scene in this movie, and I think I would assume you know what scene it was.
I think
I'm sorry,
we'll get to
that's
it.
completely out of character for the guy.
Yeah.
Leguizamo is the redeeming factor of this movie.
Yeah,
he
he does a great job as
fantastic
the
in this
clown.
role.
There are some times where he takes the jokes a little too far, or his scenes go on a little too long.
Yes,
But overall, it's
It's acted very well
yeah.
for the
It
role.
brings a levity to the movie that I think Zack Snyder wishes he could do.
yeah.
But back to the beer.
And I forget the actress's name, but she sounds dubbed the whole time and completely uninterested.
Yeah, for the most part, I don't think anybody is really terrible in this movie from an acting standpoint.
No.
But I think it goes Leguizamo, White, probably White and
Sheen.
Sheen together,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and then this guy
Yeah. So
and the dog.
yeah. So interestingly enough, Terry Fitzgerald, I can't remember the actor's name. His race has been changed to being white in this because McFarlane didn't want to portray a movie that was meant to be directed towards an African American audience. Like he didn't want to have like everyone in the movie be black besides Martin Sheen.
Okay.
Because even the female assassin we see coming up
Priest.
here, Priest. That's a slight variation from the comic because Spawn is killed by another black guy, actually, like a black assassin guy. So, but
it's not necessary to have him glow green here. We
No.
understand he's important.
yeah, we've seen him around the world.
He was just randomly standing on an airfield watching a missile kill people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's also clothed really weird, so
Yeah.
you would assume that he's something.
Yeah. But Crayon Ponyfish, 9.4 ABV, does not taste like a 9.4
Oh yeah, you'd never
beer.
guess.
IBU of 9. So, James, what are you thinking of this beer?
Oh, I like it a lot. I am going to disagree with you guys that you can't feel it. I can feel this.
Well, feel it or taste it.
Not taste it.
It doesn't taste like
but you can feel it.
I agree.
And
After it
there's-
sits, yeah, but it doesn't have that alcohol burny.
No, but there's other beers that you have, like, I would say Final Absolution from Dragon
That's because
Mead.
it's got so much sugar in it.
But you drink it and you don't feel like you're going to get drunk off of it.
You will.
You will,
Yeah.
but you don't feel it. Like,
Yeah.
I am feeling this. We've had a couple other
It's
beers,
got,
too, that I haven't felt like...
It's got a warm taste in my
Yeah.
chest. Like that's probably what you associate, like the feel, like the bourbony feel.
Yep.
So I'm gonna put this up in my top 2 favorite sours. I like it a lot. This is very, very good.
What's the other one? The
Probably-
Founders?
Probably Critterless.
Critterless?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I would put this up there with Critterless as well. Critterless is that's my benchmark for sours,
Okay.
and this is there.
I'd put this above Critterless, but I think I didn't like Critterless as much as you guys did.
Okay, understandable. Recently I went to Bell's, and we always talk about how Bell's doesn't do sours. Bell's does sours. They only have them in the tap room.
Oh, okay.
And they have a kiwi goza, which was put on tap
sounds
the day
good.
I went, and that was amazing.
That sounds like a thing I
It
want.
was, better than Founder's watermelon goza. Just this great fruity aroma, nice little bit of salt to it. Just very, very refreshing at like 1 o'clock on a Saturday
Sounds
afternoon.
wunderbar. Go get some. Bring some back for us. Have it on a future episode.
So, why is it A6 and not just the CIA?
That's a good question. Because it clearly is the CIA.
Yes, it's the CIA. I thought that was a really weird thing to kind of pull. I don't know if they were trying to like mix MI6.
That's what
and
I
the
kind of
CIA
feel like it.
together, but
Because you never really hear what like A6
stands
for. It's just like some military operation.
Yeah.
Whack. Shouldn't you be yelling?
Yeah.
Wouldn't
I was
you yell?
just about to ask that.
That was a weird. This is kind of an awkward shot just up on his face there.
Yeah, the movie goes like weirdly in and out of focus, or what it chooses to focus on is kind of strange.
That's a very Joss Whedon shot with him walking right there.
Like through the pipes.
Yeah, but I do like that it's showing that he is walking very quietly. Right? Like, I think the intention, there is intention to that, as opposed to just be like, look at this guy's feet. I like feet.
I have trouble accepting that he would just see 2 guards already knocked out and continue to go into this room.
Yeah.
Such a cool voice.
I do think it is a odd choice to send him, an African American man, as a spy to North Korea, but
I am, and I'm Dr. Exposition. Clink. Looks like she's going to go skiing somewhere.
Yeah, it does.
Shut up, Darsh.
Yeah.
Martin Sheen is a lot shorter than I usually think he is.
He's got another cool voice, too, in my
yeah.
opinion. I like Martin Sheen's voice.
yeah, Martin Sheen's got the epitome, like the '90s comic book villain of like a white guy in a suit with a beard who smokes.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. It's a good line.
Mm-hmm.
Really gets to the heart of what's going to happen
Right.
here in the next few
Yep.
moments.
This stops nothing. I know you're an Estevez.
Yeah.
It's a weird choice to just be at ground zero of a huge, just biochemical weapon, experiment. It's like, well, I want to be at the explosion.
Okay. So This is the PG-13 cut of this movie. I have the R-rated cut of this movie. That scene is much longer.
Oh,
than
is
the
it?
R-rated. You see him like on fire, and like
I believe
you're
it.
like screaming in pain, or whatever.
Okay.
I've seen the R-rated cut also, but it's been a very long time, and the only differences I really remember were kind of some language from Clown in a couple scenes. But that's all I really remember.
The main, from what I heard, the main like reason that it was rated R is they said that he was getting beat up too much. Like he was just getting Spawn gets the shit kicked out of him most of this movie.
Yeah.
By like everyone. So they dialed back some of that.
Okay.
And obviously the scene of him on fire. 'Cause, like, you see him like on fire, tries to put the fire out.
Yeah.
He screams like Wanda, and you see like the
I
bombs
liked
go off.
a lot of these shots.
Oh yeah, this is
Just the big sweeping shots of the architecture and the cathedrals and stuff.
If Tim Burton would have continued doing Batman movies, they would have looked something like this.
The aesthetic here, the end product, is way better than most of Tim Burton's attempts to do the same.
It's a lot grimier. This is the 40K version of Tim Burton's Gotham City.
Yeah. But it's a cool set though.
Good set.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Big set too.
Yep.
We come back here a few times, so it makes sense that it's a big set.
Sure. Pig statue.
CGI doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, this looks fine. Mostly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Burnt flannel man. Flannelman.
I will say that I think the burn makeup on Michael J. White is very good.
Well, if garbage like Suicide Squad gets an Oscar for makeup, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it captures a lot of the how features just kind of blend into each other.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He's melted.
Yeah.
To a point, you know.
Yeah.
Featureless.
Yeah.
It's like I've never seen what a fully burnt African American man looks like, but I believe that like this burn makeup is more realistic looking than Freddy Krueger's.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, mister. Just grabs him and throws him like a Nerf football across the alley.
So this is Cagliostro, the old man who was once a Hellspawn or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting little history behind the character is all the Image guys left Marvel to go make their own characters. One Neil Gaiman was contracted to write an issue of Spawn where he came up with a character, and I think Angela, who was like a angel or whatever.
Yes.
He and McFarlane got into this huge legal battle over who owned the rights to the character, because it was McFarlane was arguing that it was a work for hire kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Gaiman's like, no, this character I have the rights to this character, blah 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 blah. So for a number of years, the issues where they introduced Cagliostro were never reprinted in like collected editions. So they're just now like being reprinted. The legal stuff has been settled, but it was just like a weird turn of like creator-owned rights stuff, and then
well, I'm sure Gaiman's whole point was like you guys left because you wanted to own what you were making. So now you're trying to tell other people that they can't own what they're making in your comics. Like you're being hypocritical.
Yeah. I think he ended up winning the thing.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he did or not, or if he did, considering that when Image was first made, like these guys were relatively
they were
young,
25, 26.
and they probably didn't have the legal background to sit there and create all this kind of the kind of contractual stuff that they're looking to do.
Yeah.
You know that we just finished a scene there with Marilyn Manson providing the soundtrack,
Mm-hmm.
and in a movie that could have easily been just derailed by horrible music choices. I think that's the only like song that happens in this movie. Really, isn't it?
Maybe in the background,
accepting the end credits.
It's a bad helicopter.
Bad helicopter.
Bad helicopter.
But if you look up the soundtrack for this movie, it's a lot of like metal with like an electronic remix. Like there's a Metallica song that's remixed on here. I don't know if Skinny Puppy, but 90s industrial rock, I guess. But like Moby does a remix on something or whatever. Crystal Method has a song.
Yeah, I'm gonna listen a little harder this time and see.
Yeah.
See what I notice.
So where was the city actually, or city? What city was this movie actually filmed in?
I don't know.
I was trying to recognize
didn't
that
look it up.
skyline because it has a needle in it, and it's not the Space Needle.
I don't think they ever say like where it is. I want to say it's West Coast, or at least it feels West.
I think
Coast.
it's supposed to feel like L.A.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the creepiest version of clown.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Nah. He's gonna hit the pinata with the kid. I mean, I don't know how you parent, but that sounds right.
Yeah.
Seems okay.
Wanda.
That's a bad cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of these weird flashbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of works as like he's lost his memory, as the narration was saying,
Mm-hmm.
but it does a little bit too much.
Don't touch his booty.
So the reason I know that there's 2 cuts of this movie is I went as Spawn for Halloween in 3rd grade.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. And originally when I went to go like rent this from Blockbuster, I rented the first season of the HBO animated Spawn
Which is
series.
good.
It is very, very good.
That's super violent, isn't it?
It is super violent.
Yeah.
They swear off the handle. My mom was not home when we rented it, but my dad was, and like that's like the first time I can remember like understanding swear words.
Wow.
Okay.
'Cause I remember him saying to me like, "I don't want to ever hear you saying these words."
Okay.
Because I knew I'm like, ooh. And then later, when this movie actually was released, I rented it, and it was the R-rated cut. My dad's like, I thought you said it was PG-13. So
Just can't win, can you, man?
this is actually my first time seeing the PG-13 cut.
Okay. Did you guys notice that a few scenes ago when the clown is doing his thing, he's holding
a liquor.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's holding liquor. Yeah.
Yep. They also cut one of his lines where he says, "I got more tricks than your local hooker."
Oh wow. Nice.
Like he's got a lot of like background jokes in this scene,
Right.
but freak accident, Jiffy Pop.
I wonder how much of this is improvised from John.
He pulls off being very short very well because he's like squatting this entire movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even when I was little, when I saw that scene, I was like, all right, why didn't everyone lose their shit when the tiny doll vomited green ether?
Yeah. While inappropriate, the like barbecue jokes do kind of we don't want to keep the side
running
of potato
jokes?
salad making
Yeah.
waiting. It actually made me laugh when I was watching it earlier. I was like, oh, that's really funny.
I do like that he keeps that going, actually.
Yeah. And for some reason, she keeps the creepy clown doll.
Yeah,
Right.
like okay, this seems fine.
Everything's fine.
So this movie comes in at a nice and digestible 95 minutes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a pretty
which-
lean movie.
In the last year or so, I've noticed movies are going back to the shorter length in comparison to like the 2.5 hour ridiculousness of some of them.
Yeah.
Like one of the big things is Thor Ragnarok is rumored to be 100 minutes long. The shortest Marvel movie to date is The Incredible Hulk at like 111. And
Okay.
people are like, "Oh my gosh, it's a short movie," and apparently there's a bunch of deleted scenes. But you don't need every movie to be 2.5 hours long. You don't need every beer to be 12%. You don't need a 20-ounce pour of everything. You know, if you can do a good movie in an hour and a half, do a good movie in an hour and a half. Don't needlessly, plot it out, I guess, or have it suffer from bloat. I mean, what do you guys think of that?
I mean, if you're just gonna fluff it just to get that runtime, the movie's gonna suffer. If you can sustain a quality film for 2 hours and 10 minutes, I'm fine with it. I don't care really how long a movie is, as long as it maintains a level of quality that entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Viral
Viral necto, whatever.
Nectoplasm.
Necroplasm.
is just the most Todd McFarlane saying there is.
Yeah.
That is so over the top ridiculous.
And
Yeah.
actually, a lot of those lines, I was curious how much of those were from the source material, or if they were just from the movie studio.
Things
being
like
oh, we gotta
necro-
sound kind of science. Sort
I'm
Things
of.
pretty
like
sure all that-
necroflesh is something that you would see in a Spawn comic.
yeah.
So more Max Spawn background. A number of years ago, in like 2007, when I got my first job, someone I kind of knew from high school, like when MySpace was still a thing, was posting like, "Hey, I got a bunch of Spawn comics I want to sell, like $35 or whatever. So I was like, yeah, I have money. Give me all of these Spawn comics. So I have like a good 40, 50 issues of this comic
nice.
that I've read all through, including the first one. So,
boom.
Going back to the movie length thing, because this scene is this is where some of the bad CGI comes in.
Yeah, it's completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the frame skipping. I like that effect at times, but everything in here is terrible.
It looks
all
so
of this is
bad.
Yeah. Apparently this movie was like 40% special effects budget. And they were worried about like the filming time going long, so like they spent a week just doing all the CGI stuff like last minute, and they're just like send it off to go get production.
Wow, you can tell.
And it spent
apparently
they spent a while
God.
doing all like this background stuff.
That looks like a Mortal Kombat 2 fight background.
It does.
It looks like Mortal Kombat or Primal Rage 2D sprites.
Yeah,
at about that resolution. And there's one real quick shot where the sprites are immediately in front of the camera, and the screen is like 7 pixels.
Yeah,
of just garbage. Yeah, John Leguizamo carries a lot of this movie.
Yeah, he does.
I always, as weird as this is, I always thought one of the things that skeeves me out the most about Clown is his goddamn earrings. Something about that. Just, I don't know.
Yeah. So, going back to the movie time.
No, you're never gonna finish this.
My biggest thing is use the amount of time you need to tell the story you want to tell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can tell stories that are shorter, then you can tell stories that are shorter.
Exactly.
And I don't know if it's necessarily that we're starting to see movies that are shorter because they're hearkening back to a lot of source material that people know already, or if it's going to be the contiguous universe phenomenon where after 14 Marvel movies, it's like, hey, we can probably just
wave things. We don't need to
really get deep into it. Like people are obviously willing to buy into the fact that like magic it just exists. We don't need to be like, this is the magic box of Waythor.
Right. You might be able to spare some world building. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, even we were talking about Dunkirk before we started recording. Dunkirk is under 2 hours.
Yes, it is.
Which
a Chris Nolan movie that's less than 2 hours.
Yeah, which I found to be very surprising.
This is weird. The shuffle thing is weird to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But, I mean, and it feels like just long enough. I mean, that movie, it's so tense. Like you're gripping your seat the entire time. You're like, oh my gosh, is this boat gonna make it or not?
This is kind of how I imagine Guy Fieri spending his weekends.
Oh my, yeah, I was gonna say that is Guy Fieri in the 90s.
Good Christ.
So, weirdly enough, with those dudes right there, one of them has a Confederate flag on the back of his shirt.
Of course, a fucking Satanist has a stars and bars on the back of his.
Yeah.
Giving Satanism a bad name.
I was gonna say it seems like that's probably out of place for a lot of that kind of stuff, and I don't know if they were just lazy and were like, "All right, grab the 4 leather jackets we've got out of the closet, boys, and we'll throw them on here." Like no,
they just kind of like skinhead attire. We can use it. Just put it with the guy with the long hair.
Yeah,
Satanists.
Why does his own skeleton reach out at him?
Dramatic effect.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Why is everything glowing green?
Yeah.
Yeah, even the old guys glow green.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah.
Leguizamo here.
It's great. I do like a lot of his puns, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this. It cracks me up.
Yep. Clown's got some good lines in here.
Leguizamo really does hold a lot of this movie together.
Yeah.
He does get first billing in the credits.
He's a good offset of all of it's like the brooding. There's so much brooding in this.
Yeah.
This doesn't look bad to me.
No, this is one of the better CGI effects.
Which is pretty impressive considering there's lightning going on right now. Like
Right.
there are
Yeah.
lighting effects they have to take in account, and it takes into account on there.
Yeah.
It doesn't look bad.
Nope.
I'm wondering if that was CGI or if a lot of that was actually claymation over top.
That's a good question.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Because they have an actual,
Right.
costume
Suit.
or whatever. So,
Right.
Yeah.
because there are times when the arms looked fully CG, but it slowly cuts back to like the actual uniform here.
Mhm.
Yep.
One of the connections I made when I saw this earlier was, I think it's cool that the suit hurts him. To me, it was akin to Wolverine's claws hurting
Yeah.
every time they come out.
Yeah.
It lives in him or whatever.
Mm. It's just,
Spawn's like just like a clean, kind of catchy-ish name, kind of like Thor.
Yeah.
Or
It was a good. It's a really
Hulk.
good.
It's a good superhero name.
And I think that's probably why even now Spawn still isn't necessarily a thing, like a big thing, but
it's still
he's
a comic.
He's still a
Issue
comic.
Right.
276 came out. It is 25 years old now.
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, as dumb as it sounds, like having a easily remembered and cool name
Mhm.
really gives you a leg up on anybody else.
oh, certainly, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a number of video games, TV shows, movie. It was just announced at Comic-Con that they're making they're going to do a reboot.
Right. And I'd heard that McFarlane is trying to get full creative control.
Yeah, because I guess he was the guy who, did the announcement.
Mm.
A reboot of the comic?
No,
A
they're
movie?
doing
Movie.
another Spawn movie,
Oh,
which I guess
okay.
has kind of been
Hard
like in
R.
development hell for a decade or so.
okay. And you know what? I don't have a problem with Spawn being a hard R.
Sure.
Because
No,
that was
it
the
should
purpose.
be.
It should be.
It
It's
is
supposed to be a
violent.
very
It
violent
is
and dark
violent
comic.
movie, or
Yep.
excuse me, violent series, and the fact that it kind of had McFarlane's art on it meant initially at least
This is
the art
gross.
was very good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
very good.
The way this is cut, I want to believe that John Leguizamo actually took this first bite, but immediately herfed it up. Because we see him take the bite here. That's legit. And then this cuts, right?
Yep.
So I think
Yeah.
that between those two, he has gotten rid of that nastiness.
The old Arnold actually bites into the dead vulture
Mhm.
cut.
Yep. So Michael J. White actually did know karate,
Okay.
or martial arts, excuse me, and
That looks bad.
Yeah.
like the workout regimen he had apparently really helped him like wear this suit all the time. Because imagine like wearing the suit and all this makeup was just hell.
Oh, of
Oh
course.
yeah.
So I'm gonna nerd explain you a bit, Max. I think it is Michael Jai White.
Michael J. White.
Yeah.
That's right. How dare you? I think he also played Jax in the Mortal Kombat.
TV series.
Yes,
You are correct. He did do that.
he's good Jax.
Yeah.
I like that question too.
I'll give it to the makeup. He's still very able to emote
Yeah.
Yeah,
with all the like heavy burn makeup on.
yeah. It's
Yep.
not like rigid and constricting.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I mean,
Oh,
mocap now is good enough that they could do that entirely CG, but you would need a really good actor
Mhm.
to be able to still able to deliver, I guess.
Andy Serkis
There you go.
is Spawn.
Right.
Andy Spawnkus.
And he's
He's
fun.
smart. Oh, whose footprints are these?
Yeah.
Just a box.
That's clearly supposed to be Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Pseudo politics.
So
XM.
why is he wearing a suit in this scene, and then he walks in a tuxedo?
Because it was recorded earlier, like the Tonight Show.
But I mean, it's live news, so you like it. To me, this scene felt like to me that it was supposed to be connected. Like he got off
Yeah.
of there and walked into this room.
Pre-recorded interview, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like the filmmakers of this movie saw Goldeneye with Famke Johnson as Xenia Onatop, and were like, "We're just going to copy that character,
Yeah, we just want
but
that.
make her American."
Yeah.
She looks really familiar to
She
me.
is in the OC.
That would be why.
Yep.
She's the mom, right?
She is the mom of the girl next door. Yeah,
Okay.
I can't remember. I think her name is Julie or something like that.
Okay.
It's Malbolgia.
I'm pretty sure that Heat 16 is just Martin Sheen taking some of his son's blood and making it into an aerosol dispersion.
Yeah, just atomizing it.
Oh, God, the world's being affected by Donald Trump's spray-on tan.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Yikes. A lot of the dialogue in this movie, to me, feels very kind of off-the-page comic booky.
Yeah, it's very like, this is what my plan is. This is what I
Yeah.
am doing. Well, they can't. It's a lot of like, it would have been thought bubble.
Right.
Right.
But
Now-
they can't thought bubble.
Having very little familiarity with Spawn at the time
You don't
that
need
I saw
anything.
this
You don't need to know anything.
Right.
He's from hell. He's burnt.
Right, but the visual design of Spawn and his cape is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
The just gigantic,
just
cape that
huge
keeps
cape.
going and going
That's
and going.
awesome.
They wanted to have the cape be more like, you had the cape more often in the movie, but it was way too expensive to do.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
it's not always like the size of Ryan's basement here.
Right.
It's usually just like, Doctor Strange level.
Right.
Yeah. So the cape in certain scenes in this movie still looks good.
Yeah.
Like that.
I think
scene,
I know
it
what
actually
scene
still
you're
looked
talking
good,
about.
But there's one,
another one in, like later in the movie we'll get to.
where he drops into the ballroom. And it
That
doesn't look
one
very good.
and when he's brooding outside the church and it's just like blowing in the wind, it's like the entire screen.
I thought that looked all right.
I thought that looked fine.
Well, no, I'm saying that's where it looks really good.
Oh yeah, no,
Oh,
the
yeah.
one that doesn't look.
Oh
good is
no!
in the
When he
ballroom.
drops into the ballroom.
Yeah, because
no,
it's too light.
No, yeah, it works best when it's dark and it's
Yeah.
not close up. Well, this could have been a cut later because we just saw him do his like Deus Ex infiltrate the government facility.
Yeah,
Because this movie takes place over like 2 days.
Right.
it's a very short period of time.
Yeah.
Spawn goes from not having any idea what he's doing to
I'm not going to
sort of having an idea of what he's
not gonna be
doing.
Hell's General.
Yeah.
Well, who's it? Clown comments on that he achieves some level
Super
of
quick.
functionality in record time or
Yeah.
whatever. Oof. Did you get that, Spicer? Wait.
I
His
think Martin
collection
Sheen
of
played Uncle Ben in the Spider-Man reboot with
With Adam
Anthony-
Garfield.
I thought it was Anthony Garfield.
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew
Yes,
Garfield.
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Anthony Adam.
Eventually we're
some
gonna
A
get there.
name.
the guy who I think
Aronson.
plays the best Spider-Man of the three Spider-Man
Really?
movies. Yes,
Hmm.
I think Garfield is the best Spider-Man because he captures
Cocky
the epitome
ass?
he captures the epitome of the like cocky jerk Spider-Man where you're like, okay, now I understand why all these adults want to kill this
I
teenager.
hate you.
And again, kind of off topic, but I'm hoping that the trajectory is that Holland will get there once he's more confident.
Yeah, Holland shows that in the ATM scene.
Right. Anyway.
Yep. Have yet to actually watch that movie. but- So here this scene coming up is, I'm not sure who he's meeting here.
Bad guys.
The Swiss.
Well, the Swiss. Yeah, but a bunch of like generic 90s they are the villains from other countries are here.
Yeah. Well, it's the Swiss. The Swiss invite everybody.
Yeah.
I like your joke from earlier, Max. It's all the people that were bidding on Bane.
Yeah.
Batman
You see
and
like
Robin.
a Russian guy get off, a Asian guy get off, a vaguely Middle Eastern guy.
The movie.
So
Go ahead.
I think you and I were about to say the same thing.
Probably.
This movie has a lot of weird swipes.
Yeah, and like it's
Yeah.
not consistent.
Some of them
Occasionally
are-
you'll
some
get.
of them are good, some of them are
Yeah,
shitty.
it's
Yeah.
very uneven. There's a lot of unevenness in this movie, and
That is supposed to be Angela, the angel who's like who hunts spawns because she has like the spawn little earring things,
Huh.
which I did not
Okay.
notice until yesterday or 2 days ago when I
Nice.
watched this.
So was that a like, hey, maybe if this movie does well, we'll have another
Yeah,
one with
there
her
was
in it?
plans for a sequel, but I mean, this movie cost $40 million to make, made 87. Pretty bad reviews, except for Roger Ebert of all people. He gave it 3.5 out of 4. But probably with the financial problems that the comic book industry had
Right.
immediately around this time,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
not being a huge runaway success financially, probably, tied that or killed that for a bit.
oh, this beer is
The
so
legal
good.
troubles that McFarlane would get into with Neil Gaiman.
Right. Yep.
And here we have the standard attire for a 90s female villain.
Yeah.
Fetish wear and guns.
Yeah, but she doesn't. She just wears that through the whole movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that her tactical gear apparently is sparklier than her normal gear.
Mm-hmm.
This is bad cape scene.
This is a trailer scene. Like I remember seeing this. Like the trailer was like him coming down, and it looks
that looked fine in the 90s.
Yeah,
that doesn't look fine anymore.
Yeah, and again, I think largely because of the lighting mismatch.
Yep.
Yeah, Spawn works the best when it's dark out.
Like Batman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, most
Unless Adam
effects,
West.
practical or CG, tend to work best in low light scenarios. But the lighting is not matched well between CGI and real.
If
film.
anything, the lighting in the scene helps you appreciate the details on Michael Jai White's face.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, look at that. Look at that, man.
Yep.
That's gnarly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a tough beef jerky.
He's desiccated.
Yeah.
That's not Jesus.
Mm-hmm. I'm just. I wonder what he smells like. Oof.
Burnt bacon, apparently.
Garbage.
Yeah.
Talk.
Yep.
Look.
Everything's fine.
menacingly.
Why isn't anyone running? You can see her walking up in the previous shot. She's actually coming up on the balcony way in the back of the shot,
Yeah.
which I appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they're using guns from GoldenEye in this scene.
Yep.
Right.
That doesn't look bad, actually.
No.
It doesn't look great, but
It doesn't look bad.
it's all right.
It looks serviceable for the time it was shot.
yeah. I'm sure in 97 that looked amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that. I hate that line.
When that looks better not close up. When he's like stumbling through the door and it's just green glowing
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
him
it
in the
looks
holes,
great.
That looks fine. That looks fine even right now.
Okay, but it's going to take me a long time to get out of these.
He's
Yeah.
got
clothes.
hammers.
And these are pretty much spray painted on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have clobs because she hit him. So
Do-do, 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 do-do.
there's some.
Were you going for Pink Panther or were you trying to do Scooby Doo?
Oh, no, Pink Panther.
Okay.
Don't ruin the tapestry.
Yeah. Shh. That's a great belt.
I thought that was a nice little, thing, like in Dusk Till Dawn when Sex Machine has like
oh, yeah, the pistol.
Yeah.
pistol in his codpiece.
Dusk Till Dawn is a good pull.
That
That's
is
a
a-
great movie.
It's
I
so
love
fun.
that
The
movie.
first one.
Yeah, the first one's a ton of fun.
I do like that line, "Little way for Halloween." Where
Yeah,
you're
it's
going every
good.
day is Halloween.
Yeah.
Again, to me, that feels very lifted off the page.
Yeah,
I think that's the only time in this movie his eyes turn red.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's the
Because-
person who killed him,
Right.
but I expected it to be more like at the end when he's like confronting
Right.
Jason Wynn.
And I do actually really love all the costume swaps from Clown.
Yeah,
And I like that the eggs are actually blue.
yeah,
Right.
I think his eyes turn red there because he's supposed to he's killing for vengeance, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
maybe because it's the person who killed him.
Yeah.
So
Well, that was great.
Generic bad guys.
I got you. Gonna
Yep.
kill you.
Like he got a
I'll go bye-bye.
he ouchlawed his granada.
Just technical difficulties as I karate kick my controller off the table here.
yep.
Ow. Ow.
I thought the sea lion flippers were dumb. I don't know.
No, hell yeah was holy shit before.
Ah.
Yeah, a little
See-
bit less swearing.
The white rifles make me laugh.
Yeah.
They're super ridiculous.
Ceremonial guard.
Yeah.
I do like the little sound effects of like the suction cups, like as he's moving.
With his gecko feet.
His gecko, yeah.
Cagliostro calls Violator a giant gecko later in the movie.
Yes, he does.
He does.
Which is an insult to geckos, and I don't like Cagliostro for it.
He's a
Uh,
crusader. What do you think? What do you,
right.
what do you expect?
As much as I like
That's
Michael Jai
cool.
White, yeah, that's awesome. Michael Jai White's voice in this movie, the actor who plays Cagliostro gets the gold because that guy sounds awesome. He died in 2011, actually. The actor's name escapes me, and my phone is not on hand, so it's Nicole something. Way to go, Simmons!
Yeah.
All that work for nothing. Your cape is mad at you.
Sergeant Nicholas Angel is going to come after you for dropping pieces of masonry on you.
Sergeant Nicholas Angle. Morning, Angle. Anyway, my favorite movies of all time.
I will say it is his best.
Yes.
Yep. Don't at me if you don't think Hot Fuzz is the best.
Good cape scene.
Yeah.
Yep.
Super cool.
Just awesome.
Very Todd McFarlane, though.
Mm.
Yep. It almost looks like a butterfly there for a second.
Yeah.
Nicole Williamson is the name of the actor who plays Cagliostro. This scene is when the cape looks good.
Yeah.
That's like an iconic off a comic book.
That is an iconic Spawn image, brooding over a church.
Yep. With a gigantic cape.
Mm-hmm. Nope, she's got a bulletproof head. She's fine.
Yeah. So I was
like
listening to a podcast of This American Life, I believe, on NPR,
mm-hmm.
and they were talking to a it was the Moth Hour.
Oh, Moth
Radio Hour, and they had a woman on there who had just become a doctor, and she ran into the problem of how do you declare that somebody's dead?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, how? Because this family asked if like their loved one had passed away, so she kept being like, "Well, how am I sure? Like, what level do you go to talk about it?" And that's what immediately when they're like, "Well, she's dead," like that's what popped into my mind. Where that guy was just like, "Yep, for sure."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No. Weird. Just John Leguizamo movie that I saw and remember kind of liking was Summer of Sam. I don't remember much, but it's an alright movie.
Why would you trust this guy if he came into your office?
I love that he's always just in someone's bubble.
Yeah.
Like he's always just like petting them and stroking people, and I think it's great.
His teeth prosthetics are fantastic too.
Yeah.
Or prosthesis. My wife would be very mad at me.
Hmm.
That's not a pun. They're actually.
Your wife's always mad at you.
Well, that's no. That's
we love you, Katie.
That's mostly not true. Because prosthetics is the study of it, and prosthesis is the actual item. Yep. Like his teeth look great. They look really good. Yep. I mean, they're disgusting, but they look really good.
They're very good at being disgusting.
They are convincingly disgusting.
Yes.
I like that.
So part of the scene that does he ever like drop down and he's like, "Guess what, Win? My name's Spawn and I'm here to kill you." So like, Win, who's supposed to be this mastermind, is totally cool. This guy showing up and being like, "Hey, that dude that showed up's name is Spawn and like he's bad and I'm gonna take care of him and we're gonna work together." Like, why would? There you go.
Right.
He's gonna kill him, but like,
yeah.
I mean, it's still a thing.
I mean, it feels like the two have been working together for a number of years. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, the beginning of the movie alludes to Clown pulling strings somehow.
Oh yeah,
with other corporations and entities.
For sure. But like, wouldn't you think that this mastermind would suspect, like, hey, how do you know who that was?
Oh yeah. No, it doesn't make any sense. Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. So, as we are drinking shorts, we cannot talk about the big news of Shorts. Yesterday, not to date this podcast, Shorts announced that they are selling 19.99% of their company to Lagunitas, who is owned by Heineken. Well, Heineken owns 50% of their company. So there's a lot of like, what's this going to do for Shorts or for craft beer? Because this is an increasingly common trend.
Yeah.
Founders sold 30% of their company to a Spanish company or whatever, presumably for increased distribution in Europe.
Yeah.
When I was in Japan, I went to the craft beer market. There was a full-page ad for Founders in a Japanese beer magazine, and in the bathroom of the place, there were 3 bottles of Lagunitas in the corner, kind of like as decoration, kind of.
But still, they were there.
They were there. And there was also a American restaurant I went to that had bottles of Lagunitas you could
Traditional
get.
toilets or modern?
Irrelevant. Yeah.
This is the scene that's weird to me.
The clown as the cheerleader.
Yeah.
It's so 90s, too.
Yeah.
I like it though because to me it's
stupidly catchy because it's been stuck in my head for a couple days.
Right. It's that, but it's also the Violator has this just kind of whimsy to him. You know, he's a terrible, terrible entity being, but he's just kind of wacky.
Yeah,
you know,
he's all scrawny though.
Yeah,
that's probably why. So going back, so for the longest time, Shorts' motto was "Made in Michigan, only in Michigan." So it wasn't until last year that they started distributing outside of the state.
Okay,
and it was only like last year that they started canning all their stuff, which they were slow to can their stuff. I mean, they're known for like all their crazy stuff.
Yeah,
but I think in cans you can get Humaluma, Soft Parade, and Bel Air Brown, which are like those are like their big beers.
Yeah. Yep.
And just thinking about like the brewery, they probably sold for distribution purposes.
That was as soon as you said it was Lagunitas because they're so West Coast focused. That was my assumption was that that's what they were going for.
Makes sense.
Because Lagunitas actually has very recently made their way into Michigan.
Yeah, about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it's from a comparative perspective to craft beer in Michigan. They're a very newcomer to our area,
but a very big brewery.
Yeah, they're very, but it still was one of those things where it makes sense that as they've come in, they've probably been doing a little scouting now that they're in Michigan to see what they want to do and where they could benefit from. But that means they're going to be able to pull all of Shorts is going to go west now, is what it is.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, you know, Shorts has their main staple beers, and to maintain competitive because the amount of craft beers in the country has almost tripled in 5 or 6 years. It was like 2,000. It's almost 6,000 now. So, like to maintain a spot in the market, they have to be able to distribute further, and they thinking about like the guys at Shorts and the beers that they brew, like the beers we're drinking today, they probably don't want to invest all the capital to be able to do that. They want to keep doing Crayon Rainbow Fish or whatever this beer is called that we're having.
Crayon Ponyfish.
Yeah. Or the beer I had at theirs at Beer Fest last week, which was Ants on a Lager, which is a lager made with celery, peanut butter, and raisins.
Okay.
Which surprisingly was pretty good.
So can we pause real quick and talk about how much of a jerk that guy was and was like, "Screw your dog, we're going home."
Yeah.
Right. Now what the hell, man? Also,
consider you saw someone get killed.
Yeah.
Also about the dog being named Spaz. In the opening credits, one of the lead special effects guys, his nickname is Spaz. So I wonder if that was a call to that dude.
Maybe. I want to punch this hobo dead.
Yeah. It's interesting that his accent is so thick and his son's isn't.
Yeah.
Maybe he came to L.A. thinking he'd be in Hollywood and ended up on the streets with a kid. So I guess like the main question about this whole craft beers being bought by larger entities is, do you guys think it's a good thing? It's a bad thing? What's your general take on this?
I think it can be both simultaneously. I think as industries grow up, this just happens.
Right.
Like it's something that comes along with it. If they're small investments like this, that makes a lot more sense from just doing distribution standpoints. What I don't like to see is that group that essentially that Anheuser-Busch owns just buying up breweries left and right, like full buyouts of breweries.
Yeah.
That to me is not good. I don't mind the larger breweries buying small stakes in order to get that kind of distribution access.
There's dog hangs out on the banister.
Yeah, it's a cat.
A nimble one.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a parallel going on right now in the board game industry where Hasbro and Asmodee are purchasing up basically every company out there, and that's where I don't want to see craft brewing going.
Yeah. Well, craft brewing's got this interesting kind of safeguard built into it. So the American Craft Brewers Association states that to be considered a craft brew, you can only produce so many barrels per year. And no individual party besides the founders can own more than 20% of your company. and you cannot have sold off more than 25% of your company. So that is why the 19.99% is very, very significant to the.
Yeah.
And in most places have reported that it's short sold off 20%, and then they make a little caveat saying like there's a rule
Almost.
saying that they.
Yeah.
You know, so technically, Founders is not considered a craft brewery anymore because they sold 30% of their company, but Michigan still considers it craft beer.
Do the doctors really need to know?
No,
It seems like
they
you could
don't.
hand them a
Yeah.
thing and say, "Hey, put this in the guy," and that's all they would need to know. Okay.
Yeah.
They didn't take the Hippocratic Oath.
Also, doesn't seem like he'd be awake for this.
Yeah, he is having conscious open heart surgery.
Yeah.
Yes.
Surprised he's not smoking.
Right. I have no idea where Clown is supposed to be at this moment. It looks like Wynn's office, maybe?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Just comes and goes as he pleases. They did a good job making his hands look fat too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks great,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which unfortunately Violator looks horrendous.
Supposedly that was like the most difficult special effects thing they did in this movie.
So, I don't think Violator looks horrendous a lot of the times.
Really?
There's
Yeah.
parts where he looks okay. When it's the
Yeah.
model, he looks okay.
He looks okay
The
a
model
couple
looks
times.
okay.
But I don't think he looks anywhere near as bad as any of the hell scenes.
No,
No.
he doesn't. But comparatively, what the clown looks like, because he's so practical.
Oh, yeah, it's
compared
all
to-
practical.
Compared to Violator, he does not look great, in my opinion.
No.
I think part of the big reason to me why a lot of the hell stuff looks bad, particularly Malbogia, is that he does not. His mouth doesn't move the way it's supposed to.
No, it's too fast.
It's just
it would have been too fast. It's too much for the technology at the time.
Yeah, he just has an open mouth and just makes noise,
Yeah.
like speaks.
I like that idea, actually, of the mouth just not even close to matching the words. But
Really?
just everything looks crappy about it. Everything.
Malvolio looks
Polygon
good when
counts are
it's-
low. Textures are bad.
I will say that
Everything
when
is
it's
bad.
zoomed out and it's not close up on his face, he looks okay. But when they do like his entire face is the screen, that's
Right.
when it's
And he's
bad.
speaking, and it's just like my
Yeah,
mouth
it's
is
like
open.
vaguely like moving.
Yeah, he just looks like one of those still shots of Jared Kushner.
Yep. I don't think Kushner can actually talk. He just projects his thoughts.
That was actually having him speak was a big deal in front of the White House because he hasn't. Anyway,
Apparently, that wasn't worthy of captioning Netflix.
yeah. From a you don't know perspective, like it's a twist that the clown is also Violator.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
This
think
is
I
a-
knew when I saw this.
Yeah, this is a cool scene when he starts beating up on him, and he's like,
Right.
"Oh, guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what?"
Yeah.
Spaz.
Good dog.
Yeah.
Spaz sprung a leak. Brooding
He's
spawn.
so good. Like you
Oh.
wouldn't know that was John Leguizamo.
Right.
Yeah. I think that like you can kind of make out his face a little
Yeah.
bit like around the cheekbones.
Yeah.
Like, that looks terrible.
Yeah.
Good Christ, that's bad.
But no, it's
Did
a
you guys
it is
ever
a
play
great
the-
costume.
The really bad Spawn video games on PlayStation 1 that came out. I remember that you could like rip people's limbs off and use them as weapons, but also they
I
were
didn't play
just
that one.
terrible.
Yeah.
I played one for the GameCube. It was like a third person beat 'em up. It was okay.
Now here's the reveal.
Yeah.
See, it's weird because like it looks
It's not
good,
terrible.
but it
This
doesn't.
Yeah.
I do like how just
the face is still
how
blue.
elaborate it is. Yeah, and how the face paint is one of the last parts to evolve.
Yeah.
I like the elaborateness of it. Obviously, the design I think is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This looks it's weird because it looks good in that the whole scene has a downgraded visual fidelity, so it looks good in that shot right there. But yeah, this is weird.
The tongue is an interesting thing they keep between the clown and Violator mode.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's a cool little effect that they don't do the jaw extending until later in the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like one of his like signature like looks, I guess, is the exaggerated jaw. But that's a lot of McFarlane stuff. Venom has exaggerated tongue. Violator's got the jaw.
Yeah.
The symbiotic nature of the costumes.
Yep.
That's Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
He gone.
He said it was very surreal having like in a couple seconds here we're gonna see Spawn pull a gun on a hobo, and he said it was very surreal to have his own creation like pull a gun on him. Yeah,
Yep.
right there.
There he is.
Oh, that's him?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. I see it now.
Yep.
That's awesome. Do you think Michael Jai White can see out of that mask?
That's a good question.
I don't think
I
so.
don't
I think
know.
the answer is no.
You know what? I would be surprised if the eyes are completely CG.
I'm gonna bet practical. They look like
They look
lights.
backlit to me.
Yeah.
Yep. My guess is that he cannot see out of that costume.
I mean, it could just be some polycarbonate. What he has, like green LEDs, kind of like around the outside of his eyes, so he can still see through.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
from outside,
Maybe.
it just appears to be.
But I think they're definitely practical.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any of the artifacts of, post production stuff. Which had to make shooting
I
a lot
think
of these
his
scenes.
movements are too fluid to not be able to see.
I don't know, if you do something enough iterations, you'll have it down pretty well.
Right. And they are very short cuts.
Yeah.
When he has the mask on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll never know. Zaps. Someone missing a dog zaps.
Well, there's some digital effects there with the
Right.
smoke.
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
eyes, But man, the suit still looks good.
Yeah, it's pretty. It looks great.
It's a clean design.
Mhm.
It's not overdone.
And they wouldn't have known it then, but it is a texture that is not the combat fabric that every freaking superhero suit is made out of right now.
Yeah.
That's what I really enjoyed seeing that out of this, is that it's a completely different texture.
Yeah. It looks like the virus is about to take a shit before he transforms back.
That transformation actually isn't bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Leguizamo is just chewing the scenery.
He's
the entire
so
movie.
good.
It's the best performance we've seen of him so far in the podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
So just going back to the discussion about shorts and such, I mean, as long as the brewery keeps producing the quality beers that they can, if they're going to offset all of their can production to somewhere else, I'm fine with that. If they're going to keep doing their crazy one-offs,
Yeah.
I'm fine with. I'm fine with more people being able to get the beers that we enjoy in our state. I've got brewery friends or beer podcast friends in Missouri. I met some really cool guys from Toronto and Montreal at the Beer Fest from Beer and Other Shit. They have a good podcast. They were visiting, and if people outside our area can get some of these beers that we enjoy on a regular day basis, more power to it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be all greedy with my hop slam and stuff.
And that's the common quandary to expanding, right? You don't want to lose what made you great in the first place, just regardless of your circumstances, right?
Mm-hmm. But as we've been, saying in the last kind of year or so we're getting upon a year of Good Brews, Bad Views. This will actually be the 1 year anniversary episode when this is released. Yay, 1 year!
Yay.
Craft beers, I feel like, really exploded in the last year.
Yeah.
Truth.
Bell's is the sponsor for the sailboat race to Mackinac Island, which is like the
really?
whitest thing in the state of Michigan.
The one from what? Port Huron
to Mackinac
Island.
Island.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they are also they are the sponsor until 2019. They have two-hearted fishing lures now.
Nice.
They are, it's
I want to know
insane.
more about that.
Yeah, it's insane. Founders had a beer commercial for selling beers at Meijer, and then it was like, also find beers like Bell's and Shorts at
Yeah.
Meijer. So, which I had never seen before, not counting Sam Adams, but Sam Adams is a whole other thing.
Right.
So
Also, that
Well, and
blade
Founders
was
made
blue.
the very recently just had the celebration of Mike Sadler, the Michigan State punter who was killed about a year ago.
yeah,
They did his beer out there too. So I mean, they're stepping into statewide events at this point.
yeah,
So
yeah. They're getting to that point. When Oberon came out, I was watching the news that morning. They're like, "It's Oberon Day."
yeah,
And I'm like, "What?" But everyone knows these breweries around here. Even people who don't really drink beer.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
Heard of them.
I can name craft beers my mom likes. I can name craft beers that people who don't really drink beer like. Like our friend Jess loves M43. My coworker Lisa loves Vanilla Java Porter. I mean, there's something for everyone within this market.
Right.
Yeah.
They just need to find it.
Yeah, so back to Spawn now. We just saw, some people get carted away, and Cagliostro is imparting wisdom on Spawn here that, your anger is their pain, blah, blah, blah.
The dark
But-
side of
but
the
it-
spawn.
Right. But again, given the widespread destruction and just like famine and nastiness that's happening in the fiction of this movie right now, we've only seen about 7 people the entire movie.
Yeah, it's true.
Yep.
So if Al is all burned and horrible and everything, and that's why he died,
Mm-hmm.
do you think Cagliostro is hiding his horrible death injury underneath his cloak?
Yeah, I mean, they said he was a
good
soldier or something like
So he
that.
probably got like
He's
run
he
through.
probably got run through,
Yeah.
which is probably why he wears armor. Stab me once,
Yeah.
shame on you.
He
Or
uses
shame on
that
me.
line a lot. I'm going to nail XYZ.
Yeah,
It's the 90s.
Mm.
People were nailing everything.
I don't nail it.
apparently. Back to this set. I mean,
This roof.
yep, they paid a
Oh.
lot of money for it, so I guess they're
Yeah.
going to use it some more.
Yeah. Dutch angle.
Where did he get all these guns from?
He robbed the place. Remember?
Did he actually rob it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There was a
he robbed
montage
one,
of him
yeah, from the
stealing
A6.
guns.
I completely missed that. To be honest with you.
Yeah, this is cool, but for as many times as Cagliostro appears to circle Spawn, there are only like 5.5 loops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's Cabal from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Cool shot. What? Is Cagliostro still important? He hasn't glowed green in a while. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm confused.
Are we sure he's still mystical?
Translating your thought into any of your many languages, like the babblefish.
So the dialogue in this scene is very 90s to me, in that it's like they just can't be like, "Hey, you went
You're
to
magic."
hell and now you're magic because you're like full of hell."
It's a training montage without the montage.
But
Yeah.
they're talking with it too. They're like, "Hey, it's all you have millions of neurotransmitters
Oh,
that
yeah,
do
it's
this
like
and
that's-
blah blah." It's like, no,
that's
just
too much.
he's full of hell.
Well, yeah, we
you're
get it.
full-
Yeah, all sorts of hell.
Yeah.
I do like the Yoda line.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This guy sounds so cool. I love his voice. Love it. Whack.
Chains look fine.
They look like knockoff versions of the things from Deep Rising.
Oh, they do.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna
Same year, I think.
Yeah. I was gonna say they look like Todd.
97.
To pull more on the '90s, say they look like Todd McFarlane's version of a yo-yo ball.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Do you little tricks?
What was that that cartoon where it was like the group of 5 kids who were all different bird colors, and one of them had like a bladed yo-yo?
Oh, Gotcha Man.
No, it wasn't Gotcha Man.
Well, I think that's the original anime that it's
based
based
off.
off of.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's you know what I'm talking about, right? There's like they all have helmets with like the visors are like beak shaped that are
Yeah.
see through.
Oh yeah. Now I can.
And it was
I can
clearly
picture
that
it.
cartoon got on Cartoon Network, and they clearly edited all the blood out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Like most anime in the 90s.
I think I'm gonna do a GBBV first here, and I'm just gonna step away just real quick from my mic. I'll be right back.
Oh,
Oh wow.
oh boy,
Ryan really hates this scene.
yeah.
This is very, very important.
No,
I like the scene though.
Yeah, I like that he's in the trucker hat.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
he's a trucker hat on. It's amazing. the costume changes he has are just wonderful.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're really fun.
I like how in this scene you can clearly tell that's a helmet the guy is wearing. The stunt
Yeah,
double.
with two glowy things on
Yep.
it.
Because the head gets like unexpectedly big.
There was that quick cut just then when the truck hit the fence and the fence hit the bike, where I am convinced that the stunt rider was just careening into the distance.
Wiped him
Like
out.
he got
Good
wiped
word
out.
there, Ryan. Careening.
This
He
is
just
very
has a grenade launcher
yeah.
now.
No, this is form 2 of a video game boss. That's
Oh
what's
gosh,
happening
yeah.
here.
Like this
Yeah.
level must be hell if it was Super Nintendo.
The whole necro goo thing I think is very dumb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Which will-
the clown doesn't have to reload either. He just has an unlimited grenade magazine right here.
Yeah.
Cape time.
Yeah.
I always thought that was a little cool how the
Yeah.
cape becomes like this
Although I
H.R. Geiger.
right, although I didn't
thing.
notice it the first time, but I did watching it the second time and then today. The texture on the bike when the cape first forms is very different from the texture on the bike when we see the practical shots
Yeah.
immediately following.
I do like that when
that
he's
truck
getting
was on the way to Nick Studios.
yeah when he's getting hit, you can see the
Like the energy, kind of like the.
when the energy's going, you can see underneath the cape. You can see the tire a little bit too.
Oh,
so it's
okay.
cool that it's not like it's still a cape.
Yeah. Cape looks okay here.
Yeah, it's all right. It's not the best cape.
When
No.
In this
when it
movie.
gets overly complicated is when the problem comes in. Like when it's blowing off to the side or when it's doing like that scene doesn't look great because it's moving from one shoulder over to the other, and they just didn't have the computing back then to pull that off. I don't think.
It just floats away.
Good God.
Another trailer shot coming up here.
Right there.
Just or
Yep.
walking away from the fire. I mean, it doesn't look bad.
Nope.
Yeah,
I mean, it's all CG.
Yep.
But it still doesn't look bad. And that was a nice little transition of the cape blocking out the camera here.
Yep. That face.
And also the longest night ever.
Yeah.
James, is this the anime you were talking about?
Let me look.
Give me that phone.
Yes. That's exactly what I was talking
Gotcha
about.
Man.
It's Gotcha Man. Okay.
It may have had another name at one point, but the source material is Gotcha Man.
Okay.
I'd at least heard of Gotcha Man.
Yeah.
Like when you said like 90s animated bird helmets, I'm like, or bird people. I'm like, I've saw a lot of anthropomorphic 90s cartoons.
I think,
Dinosaurs, dogs,
Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
monkeys.
I think
Cats.
that was done. It had a different name when I was watching it.
I
Might
think it
have,
did.
when it got here.
Yeah,
It was something like 5 or something like that. But
Bird Force 5.
no, it's not Bird Force 5. Thank you, Tarantino.
I'm not dropping N-bombs.
Fox Force 5.
Yes.
I'm going to explain Max's joke for you,
Thanks,
audience.
buddy.
Great, yeah. Because the small amount of people who listen to this podcast
Yep.
probably have not seen Pulp Fiction with 90s Skype.
So what? Oh yeah, I like the video connection here. We don't. This is in the 90s. Skype doesn't work this well right now.
Oh yeah.
He's a touchscreen.
Yeah. And, I thought about that. I guess the implication is they have some sort of like super futuristic tech. Just
have, like,
accessible to these guys.
The ARPANET that apparently the newscaster just happens to have also.
Yep. Are you here to kill me?
I do appreciate that Martin Sheen shows up in his dress pants and a motorcycle jacket.
See, this is the 90s where all the computer exists within the monitor.
Hey, where are all the files?
Yeah.
I heard that the second Zoolander was a travesty.
Yeah, I did too.
That's unfortunate.
So
Look at how short he is, Martin Sheen here.
Yeah. He is short. Does it bother anybody else that the apocalypse is supposed to happen and, quote, only millions of people are supposed to die?
All the important ones.
Like, it should be billions.
Yes.
Right.
Humanity doesn't know that word yet. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is not a show yet.
Right.
That's also a trailer shot, if I
Right.
recall. I like the effects on his eyes, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
He
subtle.
does a
right
really
there.
good job of being a creepy clown.
Yes,
For
he does.
Remember me?
That looks
That's
atrocious.
the eyes and
bad.
tongue.
Way to be Cyan though.
Yeah.
Way to not deal with this.
Yeah.
That threat there is a lot more important to the audience because we've seen Violator.
Yeah.
We know what
Yeah.
could happen to this guy, and he has no idea.
There's also just a level of menace to it.
Right.
Yes.
He's always been all goofy, but when he gets like that actual serious tone in his voice, it's a
Right.
good.
Woo! He rhymes, dog.
Yeah.
The guns are all kind of cool looking in this movie. I mean, they all look kind of the same, but
We don't need that.
yeah,
No.
like we know what's in there.
Yep.
Yeah, like when does
I don't know if I would say the guns look cool. I mean,
That's
that's obviously a fake gun,
Fine.
but the gun Spawn uses was okay because it's an
Yeah.
actual gun.
He looks reptilian here.
He does, yeah, very
Yeah.
lizard-like because it looks like he has no lips.
Reptile.
Yeah.
I've got no lips to make my words. Everything's
This
fine.
is a big house.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Badass
Works for the CIA.
assassin. Ought to be pulling in some buku bucks.
Yeah. I like that subtle look right
I
there.
haven't noticed that the
Yeah.
eyes
The
are
eyes?
messed up
The
before.
eyes. Yep.
I mean, obviously, I was not paying that close of attention to this movie.
Yep. But that's a cool cue. It's
Yeah.
a really
Yeah.
cool cue.
He's got a good vocal range,
Yeah.
Michael Jai White.
Yep. Evil Bartlett. He's got. You can tell he's evil because he has a beard.
Yeah.
You leave beards alone.
Whatever, evil Max.
I'm about to lose the beard anyway.
Oh.
Mine's rubbing up on my pop screen right now. Mm-hmm.
It'll be back in like a month. It needs a vacation too.
It's all your fault, man. It's all your fault, man.
Now fight me.
In my
Fight me, you
final
burnt ass
form.
bitch.
Yeah.
See, that's what I would expect his eyes to go all red because he's all like, "You killed my wife."
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I think it's just when he kills the person, though.
Maybe. Wait, where did this ball gag come
Yeah, it was
from?
the exact thing I was going to ask. Like,
But that's a good point, though. If his eyes only went red when he was attempting to kill someone, that would be a cool pull at the end of the movie for them to turn red here because you're like, well, maybe he's going to kill Win.
Yeah.
No. What I think is like, because he's full of hell. When he shoots hell knows that when he shoots the bullets that will kill her, and her eyes turn red.
That the act has
of
occurred.
killing her
Okay.
is what turns his eyes red. Not
So
like,
it's
I want to kill you.
right. So it's an indication of occurring, not a prediction of.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
Because
There it is. Red. It went red.
Did it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
His eyes went red.
I'm not rewinding to look at this, even though I've watched this movie half dozen
Yeah.
times.
Oh, yeah, they are red right
Yeah.
now.
Those fucking
But
horrid
I really
sprites.
had to look closely to see that the lighting from the fireplace against
Yeah.
the makeup made it very hard to tell.
Yeah, they could have
In comparison
saturated
to-
it a little
in
more.
comparison to before when it was against that
Right.
beige background.
And now he's spooky Neo from the Matrix, I
Mhm.
No, he's spooky Superman.
guess. Right.
He's both. Both are a Jesus and or Moses allegory.
He's the angel from the end of the Constantine movie that pulls the cancer out of Constantine's lungs.
You mean
I
the
like
devil?
the Constantine
devil, yeah.
movie.
I
enjoyed
like
it.
Played
the-
by one Peter Stormare.
I
Yeah.
liked the Constantine TV show. That was very
haven't seen
good,
it.
and I'm sad that it got canceled. Although I do think it's hilarious that the CW pulled him back in for 2 episodes of Arrow.
Nice.
I need to actually watch that show, despite writing 100,000 words about that comic.
It's worth watching. It's pretty good. It gets really good towards the end.
Yeah. It's weird that the clown pulls out a knife to cut his throat when there is a knife sticking out of his chest.
Right.
I think they were going for I want the sickle look or whatever.
Yeah. What is on Wynn's left hand? Did anyone else notice that?
A glove or a watch?
It's
I don't know.
weird.
Oh no, it's a brace. He got his arm hurt after the Spawn invasion at the party. So he was wearing that during the surgery scene.
Yep.
I just kept thinking of David Duchovny's character from Zoolander.
Mm. Oh, with the hand inside the bubble.
hand model. Yeah.
Yep.
And then there's a poke at Martin Sheen's movie, Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing movie.
Mm-hmm.
Still haven't seen it. I do own it. I do own it now, though. I bought it on Blu-ray.
Did you buy Apocalypse Now Redo?
I think it has both versions. I think.
Mm. I
Watch that one.
recently obtained a copy of the work cut, which is 5 hours long.
Nice.
I've yet to actually sit down and watch it because watching Redo when I was half sick was one of the most surreal experiences of my life.
Oh, I'm sure.
As well as watching A Scanner Darkly when I was also kind of sick.
Oh, I've never seen that. I've always wanted to.
Don't watch it while you're sick. It's got
Noted.
a headache.
Noted.
Just from the visuals, not because it's a hard story to understand, but yeah, Apocalypse Now Redo is just this. I don't know. It's an experience.
Yep.
No, I think I'm just gonna give up.
Yeah.
They should have had him say "damn" every time his suit did anything in this movie. It'd be 3 hours long.
The clown face in the fire didn't look bad.
Yeah,
I like it because it looks his hair kind of look like
the Violator.
Flame?
horns.
Violator's horns.
Okay,
at that
yeah,
point.
and the blue face flames.
Yep.
Here we are back to PS1
Oof,
hell.
This is so bad.
This is rough.
The green screen is just so.
Yeah. Meh.
That was the perfect sound for that shot.
CG
so-
Violator, so
Yeah,
bad.
so
the sword, so
bad.
bad. Oh,
I
he
have a
himself
theory here,
is
though.
CG.
That sequence of Violator's motions, grab and charge, I believe is identical to the motions that he attacks Spawn with in the alley. I think they reused the exact same animation.
That would not surprise me.
I would not be surprised.
And it just looks terrible here because of
You
everything.
can't even tell what's going on in this fight because it looks so bad.
The
Yeah.
background is so busy. Things
Yeah.
are repeatedly falling or raising, and I like how Spawn comes in by his chains or whatever. I think it's a cool
He's all, get over here!
yeah.
I'm getting over there.
Yeah.
This is so... this looks bad.
The camera's camera's moving way too much.
Yep. Yeah.
You can't even really tell what he did there. You get the idea based off of the scream and the little bit of blood you see.
And the cutting of frames there when he's flying through the air.
This is... The texturing is bad. Everything is
Oh, God.
I mean, it has potential to be a very, very cool sequence.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If anything, I would like to see this movie be redone today just for, how they would do
Capability
the
of
hell
effects,
sequence.
Yeah. That looks...
Yeah, this is rough. This is real bad.
See, I don't think he can look out of that screen. Or those lenses.
eyes?
I don't think he can.
So in addition to everything about this scene and this army being terrible looking, it also sounds terrible. It sounds like they got two guys to just be like, all right, mumble angrily. Yeah, right there. That was it. That was so pixely.
Yeah.
So do you think they just had Michael Jai White just randomly dance and cheer in a variety of poses to do all these CG spawns?
They must have.
Potentially, yeah.
This seems easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
He just wipes out part of the army.
yeah, was Al Simmons imbued with such a level of power that he's this far above everyone else?
Yeah, it seems like he doesn't need an army. Seems
Yeah.
like he could just win with Spawn.
Yeah. I mean, maybe because he's in hell, so he's got
Go
more power
go
or
spawn
something.
rockets.
Yeah. My hitherto undiscovered powers have saved me this entire fight.
Al Simmons.
Travel by
I
fireplace.
like it. Yeah. Well, they did say diagonally.
I was gonna say Harry Potter comes out next.
This is normal. Everything is fine.
Yeah. My name is Albus Spondledor.
You're a wizard, Cyan.
Come on, this is fine. Go to bed. We'll sit down right here real quick.
Cogliostro. B.A.
You're in the same room with
Yeah.
them. They can hear you saying this.
Your word, your
Maybe
the
they're
voice is too gravelly for them not to hear it.
maybe they're talking on spawn wavelengths. Only they can hear each other.
Maybe.
All right, Cogway, don't you lethal weapon, I'm too old for this, you bullshitter.
Yeah.
Shit, dog. I'd have killed your ass.
I like that because that points to the fact that he's probably killed other Hellspawns
Oh, yeah.
before.
Right.
Yeah.
Spells.
Oh, look at you. You're all limpy and hurt.
Yeah.
What's up, hobo kid?
Hobo child.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting effect that they chose here.
Yeah,
to
the
be
weird little,
rippling
like,
underneath the
chameleon-y
surface.
thingy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The flame turning blue hints towards what is happening.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember there was like a not really like a play set, but like a diorama where it was like the Violator like coming out of the wall with his head
Oh,
and
cool.
Al Simmons against the wall.
I don't think he looks bad when he's coming out of the wall, actually.
No.
See, this doesn't look bad there. But again, it's a darker scene.
Yeah.
And then in a moment here, we'll get the jaw expansion.
He distends the jaw. Yeah.
Yep. Spawn's solution is the same for everything. 2 words. More spikes.
Yeah.
See. Crunch. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Spawn's auditioning as a member of Slipknot.
I thought this was very cool.
Yeah.
This idea.
Yep.
Because they haven't really seen him do too much of this change besides repel to things.
Yeah. I like that it turns into the clown head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks bad, though.
The head looks fine. The ooze looks bad.
Yes. The is what I like right there.
That's great.
That looks bad.
That looks
looks
no good.
bad, and then this looks real bad.
Yeah, when this starts
Yeah.
to fully on melt.
Shit.
Somewhere Joel Schumacher is like, no, you don't kill the villains.
Hey, you leave Joel Schumacher alone. Okay, don't leave him that alone, but
And then it's a buddy cop movie for about 8 seconds.
Yep. I want more of that.
needs a saxophone in the background, like playing slowly in a minor key.
I like the police car that's apparently just like a dune buggy with an M60.
This actor's name is D.B. Sweeney.
DB Sweeney. Good. Rolls off the tongue nicely.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's supposed to be Sam and Twitch, 2 of like the cops who are always in Spawn.
Okay.
Brian Michael Bendis first got his big break, like writing the Sam and Twitch spin-off series.
Okay.
Who with Brian Michael Bendis being one of the big like Marvel writers now.
Okay. The news anchor, she reminds me of the actress that plays I can't think of her name.
Give me the character then.
She is the she's from Firefly.
Oh, the companion.
Inara. Yeah, she reminds me of Inara.
The brunette from Deadpool, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
correct.
Marina Baccarin.
Marina, yeah, thank you.
or however the hell you say her name.
This
Yes.
is a nice
Shiku.
little panning shot from down to the street, up the spiral staircase,
Right.
towards the rooftop.
She actually just got. Did they get engaged to the guy from Gotham? The guy who was in.
The guy also in the OC?
Yes.
Oh.
Yep. I can't think of his name right now.
You know me, I'm terrible with names.
Yeah.
Right.
Gonna add that to the drinking game list.
It's just,
After Max can't remember someone's name.
ooh.
Or misnames the name.
Prepare your gullets. Cape looks really good here, I think.
Yeah.
I like that it goes black at points.
Yeah.
Like it gets really dark.
I think it's also the lighting. It's supposed to be,
Yeah.
Right.
That looks awesome.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I think
super
this
cool.
this shot looks way better than the previous one.
I agree.
That's not necessary.
Yeah,
I
that-
don't need.
Well,
this
that's
shot.
like the poster where it was like his face kind of looking out. So yeah, Spawn.
Spawn.
90 minutes of mild entertainment, I'd guess.
Yeah.
So I guess that brings us into before we get to View Again, Brew Again, any final thoughts?
I wish there was more. Not in length, but I wish they had just done more with the material.
Okay.
I think this has the potential to have been a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that they didn't move fast enough for how little of exposition they actually do.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the exposition is front loaded because that scene where Spawn crashes through the skylight and attacks Jason, when that's 45 minutes in,
Yeah.
that's half of the movie.
Right. And if they wanted to do a slower movie like this, they needed to build more as to what's going on, like Ryan said. Like, they didn't talk
Showed
about
more
how
of
like
the
the world
degradation
is
society and
under
whatever.
siege and degradation's going on and everything else is happening. Like, it doesn't... You don't feel enough of what's happening in the world,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, the movie isn't fast enough to get over the fact that like he's just very laser focused on doing these things over two nights.
Yeah, it might be a different in the time that this movie was filmed. Is that it was in the 90s, and because it was focusing so much on like people living on the streets and like the violence of it, that you just assumed like, oh, things are bad. Look at all these people living on the streets and whatever.
Yeah,
But I don't know. Could be wrong. So, Ryan, anything to add?
No, I mean, I think a lot of this movie is just a victim of the time and environment it was made in and during. But yeah, a lot more of the scale of the destruction and the virus is something that I really wanted to see, not because that, like, I want to see people die, but I thought it would help with the narrative, help with the contextualizing a lot of what was going on. But I'm kind of okay with this movie as a slice of the 90s life for me overall.
Yeah.
Like this, it had a lot of things that I was like, man, I was very excited for, and I thought were very cool, effects wise, just character wise, theme wise. But I acknowledge that it's got just a lot of problems.
Yeah. And for me, I would say the greatest really kind of thing about this movie is, again, this was only 5 years of franchise when they're like, let's spend $40 million to make this movie. I mean, you had a bunch of failed Marvel movies in the 90s that never got made. You had all your Batman movies. Then you had your pulp revivals with The Phantom and the Shadow. But those
And
all
the
had like
Rocketeer.
50 years. Rocketeer. So those were all things that had like decades of,
true. Yeah,
of stuff
fan
behind them.
base and all that.
Yeah. But this is something, the new hotness, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So I guess it kind of segues into View Again, Brew Again. Sorry, I cut you off.
Interestingly, I'm guessing that they were probably ILM folks.
Yes,
but
they said ILM was people who did the.
no, there was one of the visual effects companies was Banned from the Ranch Incorporated, which I'm assuming is a nod to Skywalker
Yeah.
Ranch.
But they did have ILM listed in the earlier
in
in the
there.
credits.
Okay.
Yeah, as doing some
So
of the stuff.
they
So
probably
they had
had both of
they had a
them.
number of companies doing special
Yeah,
effects
sure.
on this.
Brew Again, absolutely. Yeah, I like this a lot. I really enjoy it. The wine taste to it, I really like.
I think that's what sold it for me on this beer when I was at Shorts, and this was part of the flight that I got. This was actually the last one that I tried, 2 of the 5 that I got in the flight.
Okay.
And the other things I had, I like to try stuff that is unique, but I might not like which is fine because I tried a couple of different IPAs they had there. But when I got to this, I was like, okay, this is exactly what I want to drink.
Yeah,
and it's that little bit of wine,
the tannin taste.
yeah, the bit of the tannin in there. And it's not overwhelming, but it's the suggestion of wine.
Yeah,
but it's very well balanced in that regard, and I really, really like this beer.
Yeah, I with going to visit my grandfather, we're Portuguese, so he brings home port from Portugal, actually. And so I've been getting more and more into port. I've been buying.
Yeah,
some.
you said you just bought some recently.
Yeah, I've been buying some. So it might be that's one of the reasons why I'm noticing the wine more than anything else, or not anything else, but noticing it in here. But I really do like that taste in there right now.
Aging
really
a beer in a wine barrel definitely adds a lot to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can kind of be overpowering. I think
the sour cuts it.
The Brett of Siamese cuts it definitely. It lets you let some of the fruit come through a little more, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
So,
it's a good beer. Like I feel like wine barrels are the new bourbon barrel because sours are becoming more of a thing.
Yeah, and sours are more receptive to it.
Yeah.
I can see that. So, yeah, brew again for sure. Maybe view again. I might put this on. I don't. I'd probably be doing something kind of like background noise.
Yeah,
it's our TNT movie kind of deal.
Our TNT.
But less. If it was on TNT, I probably wouldn't stop and watch it. It's more of a background movie for me. Like, hey, I just need some noise and something where I can like, if my ear perks up and like, oh hey,
yeah,
a cool cape
this
scene
thing's
is coming up.
Yeah,
I want to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, I don't know. I mean, it was fine. I like I said, I just wish there was more.
All right, Ryan.
It should be clear my thoughts on the beer. Yeah, brew again for certain. This is very good. Again, this top two sours easily. View again. Yes, I would view this again. I have a real soft spot for this movie. I remember being very excited to go see this in the theater, being just amped up for. I'm very much a fan of supernatural things.
Okay.
In movies and books and games. So to have kind of a very just supernaturally based superhero, and I wasn't as well versed in comics, it sounds like, when I was younger as you guys may have been.
Well, no, all my comic stuff is from the age of 19 on. So
right. So, but I was very into this idea of a supernatural hero who was also fairly dark. Everything about that was appealing to me. But yeah, I would watch this movie again. I'd sit down. I wouldn't like have people over and sit down and watch it, or just sit down myself and watch it, if not for the podcast. But well, maybe I might. You know what? Maybe I might.
Well, you and Randy, who was on for Running Man, have been doing your Children of the Corn marathon.
Yeah, that's been a trip, you guys. Holy crap! Yeah, we're 7 movies in right now.
Of what, the 9 or whatever it is?
9 that are out, and I think there's a 10th on the way this year.
Oh wow!
Yes.
Mr.
Max.
Yeah.
Mr. Manager.
Mr. Manager. As far as this beer goes, yeah, this is good. I will say of the 3 big breweries in Michigan, Bell's, Founder, Shorts. I think Shorts makes the best sours, or at least most readily available good sours. Like,
yeah, I agree with that. Exeter, this Critterless.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's.
I haven't seen this in bottles anymore.
No, this is pub exclusive.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what
this
I thought.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
I mean, the Peachy Palm, whatever, you might be able to get in
I
bottles.
think I've seen that around. Yeah.
But no, the availability of Shorts' sours, I think, is beyond Bell's and Founders. Founders has our Goza was pub exclusive.
Yep.
All the sours and Gozas I had at Bell's were pub exclusive stuff.
Yeah.
Which apparently they're expanding their production to bottle some of those pub exclusives and sell them at the Eccentric Cafe. So you can buy them, but you still have to
go to
buy
Bell's.
them. Yeah, because they're weird as far as doing growlers. They have you buy growlers in their general goods store. So they have 4 beers on tap at all times, and they rotate out one of their pub exclusives every week.
Yeah, you were telling because they have machines that do it, right?
Yes, they have this really cool system where they put the growler in this little chamber and it closes it, and it pressurizes the chamber to be the same as a keg, and then they pump under the same pressure as a keg, so it's carbonated, and it gets sealed as one of those flip top latch covers, and then they put a shrink wrap around it. So one, you can't get nailed for open carry or for open container in your car, and 2, the beer lasts for 2 or 3 weeks as opposed to 2 or 3 days. because it's at the same conditions that the kegs are at. So, but you can, of course, only go to there to get one. When I was there, one of the 4 filling vessels was down. Apparently, there's only like 30 systems in the world. It's based out of Russia, and they're waiting on their parts still. So, oh well.
Wait, are you talking Bell's or Founders right now?
Bell's.
Okay.
Bell's.
Yeah, Founders just says theirs out of there.
Sorry, I meant to say Bell's or Shorts. Derp.
Yeah.
But just real quickly, just plugging the food at Shorts. Their food is real good.
What'd you have?
Just FYI, it was called Where Has All the Cheese Gone? It was a giant grilled cheese sandwich with tomatoes and avocados.
Like,
nice.
on the sandwich?
And like Chipotle sauce, yeah.
Oh, cool.
It was super good. The appetizers that we got were just pretzels, pub pretzels. Best pretzels I have ever had.
Better than that giant pretzel from Kunin?
Yes.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
better than that. And the sauces were good. I forget, one was just straight up peanut butter and jelly, and one was kind of like a jalapeno cheddar, and I forget what the third one was, some sort of like honey mustard. But the pretzels themselves were just out of this world. Kayla got a really good rap, but I've also heard from some other people, coworkers who have been to Founders and had a lot of their food, that it's just everything's great. Their menu isn't very big.
Founders is wonderful for food.
Yeah. Sorry, did I say Founders again?
Yeah, you meant Shorts.
Sorry, Shorts.
Shorts.
Yeah.
Yep,
Shorts
Founders is very
menu
good.
is small, but from what I understand, everything is great on it. FYI.
James, you ate at Founders, right?
I've eaten at Founders multiple times. Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool. Good food?
Yeah, I really like their Blushing Monk chicken salad, which is interesting because I don't actually like chicken salad usually, but Blushing Monk is made with their
beer Blushing Monk.
Yeah, well, no, it's made with rubeus.
Nice.
So it's a like raspberry vinaigrette chicken salad.
Sounds really nice.
Which is super good, and you can get it in just a salad form, so it's like a salad with chicken salad on it. It's really, really, really good. They make the bread there. I think it's nice. They have good potato salad. Sorry, Founders, I do not like your guacamole. There's too much cumin. But they have good chips.
Yeah.
So, but no, pretty much everything I've gotten from Founders I've really enjoyed. You can go there and you can get a sandwich and split it with 2 people because it is a big sandwich. It's one of those kinds of deals.
I also had lunch while I was at Bell's. I had a nice big bowl of jambalaya, which was very well seasoned. Very, very large for like the $12 it was. So.
Yeah.
It's very satisfying.
It's amazingly disappointing when you go to a brewery and they have bad food.
Yeah. That's a bummer, man.
That is a bummer, and it is also a huge expense on the brewery to operate a kitchen as well.
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't doubt it. Yeah, for certain. Just minor thing too. Local brewery Ascension has really good food over here, just down the road in Novi.
Yeah. All right. So View again.
No, you never get to go, Max. Let's talk about food more.
Yeah, let's talk about food after this. I actually own a copy of this on DVD. It's a movie that I associate a lot with childhood and me getting into like, ooh, I'm gonna see an R-rated movie. I mean, it's got a soft spot for me as like people are like, with Black Panther coming out next year, people are like, oh my gosh, finally a African American lead in a superhero movie, and I'm like, there's been a couple of those. They weren't super popular, but they exist,
and this is one, obviously.
And I'm not meaning to be like a contrarian about it, but like when this movie came out, like this was a huge comic or whatever. It was like the big new thing of the 90s as far as, comics going. Like I remember going to Gibraltar Trade Center, which is closed by the time this comes out. And like they had like issues of that at the big comic little stand they had there. And yeah, it's always it's a character concept I always found really, really cool because it was the first time I can remember about like someone who went to hell and came back and wasn't evil.
Right.
Wasn't really, going the demonic path, I suppose. But still was very much like a evil-ish kind of character just because of like he was all this burnt dude and he had all these demon powers and whatnot. So it's kind of funny. We always talk about like the TNT tier, which I'd put this in that tier. But USA, which I don't know, would you guys consider that to be like the same or more?
It's roughly the same.
So USA, in this weird point in my teenage years in like the early mid-aughts, like USA is where I first saw Aliens, and it is where I first saw Blade Runner Director's Cut, like on Saturday afternoons or whatever.
I think it's where I first saw Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, that seems pretty similar. So like even though we rate these TNT tiers. Like back in the day, or maybe still, I don't know. I don't watch cable often. Like they still got some gems every now and then.
I think USA plays more science fiction horror kind of stuff, whereas TNT is like dad movies.
Yeah, dad movies. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And endless repeats of The Office or whatever.
Yeah.
But all right, well, I think that wraps up another episode of Good Brews, Bad Views. One last piece of note. I bought a house.
Yay, Max.
Time for me to move out of the
No
basement
longer a
of my
hobo.
parents' attic, a.k.a. the upstairs. Yeah, I'll be moving out, and by the time this comes out, I'll have moved out.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
might be changing recording locations potentially.
You're
to there,
spoiling things. But
Oh, sorry.
yeah, probably, maybe.
Spoilers.
So we'll more updates on that when it happens. Another episode of Good Brews, Bad Views. As always, thanks for joining in. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, WordPress.com, all that good jazz. Send us your hate mail, goodbrewsbadviews@gmail.com. And as always, please watch and drink responsibly. We'll see you guys next time.
Hasta luego.
Goodbye.